Good morning. Welcome to practice. My name is Alyssa. If we haven't met, welcome. It's morning where I am, but it might not be where you are, so I might suggest that you could welcome yourself into whatever time you happen to find yourself in whatever space you happen to find yourself in. I am on the San Juan Islands outside, and it's a little hot. And so I think I give you those circumstances mostly because occasionally a dog trots through, or you hear the chickens on the farm make sound, or a bee comes and I move. So just know my circumstances, and I appreciate that and that you can utilize this tool to the best of your ability, however you would like to. So this offering is a Vinyasa class, a flow class, always donation based. This offering particularly is geared towards the posers community or offered through it. And the posers community has always been sliding scale donation offering. So I always talk a little bit about that at the end and all the channels through which to do that. Most people have figured out a lot of those things, but if it's a new idea to you, always feel free to reach out or let me know that you have questions. This particular class, I'm going to suggest that you give yourself a lot of permission to be very kind, because in times when things are stressful or when we maybe feel dysregulated from the habits that we usually use to cope or to soothe, etc., we can really have a hard time with practices where someone is offering the idea that you might intentionally fail or do things that you know aren't going to succeed for you, because it's hard. It's really difficult when we look at them in those lines. And so I want to be clear that in offering the practice today, I'm going to talk a little bit about practicing failure, about figuring out how it is to be with our own failures, because honestly, I don't know how else we change or how else we heal or how else we sort of stop creating more harm. Than to create real knowledge of how to be sensitive with ourselves. It's usually denying our failures, running away from them, that causes us to repeat those harms in the world, at least in my experience. And so allowing yourself to practice doing things that are difficult. And asana practice is interesting because, especially if you're interested in difficult postures or postures that might not be more pedestrian for you in your life, you might be practicing something many times over that you can't do, as it were, or that you don't succeed at. A lot of times we see the end game of these things in this world with all these images. We see these pictures of somebody like floating on one fingertip on a rock in Bali or something, and they're great. I mean, good for them. That sounds wonderful. I hope it's living the dream. But remember that, like, that picture is not the practice. The practice is your sensations, your experience, what you're doing inside thing with devotion, with attention, with care, with focus. You have an opportunity to be sort of with how things really are, to sort of clear out the space of our own misconceptions. And I think being with our failures and having to look at them square in the eye is hard, but how else can we really practice truth around them? How else can we practice kindness? And the opportunity to practice kindness is huge. So know that if it's not for you, it's always okay to shut it down or tune it out. It's always okay to do the postures differently or to decide to do something altogether different, to rest, to do a different variation, to stop the video because you want to do a 5-minute flow of your own that you like, or to omit or add anything that is yours. Utilize props, do different variations as you like them. I'm here really just to offer a little bit of sthira, a little bit of structure, so that you have some ease and space in your own practice of creation. So having said that, let's get started. I like to start in a seat, 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om. I offer Om as a secular chant, acknowledging the interconnection, the networking between all things, said to be the sound of the universe. If for any reason Oming or chanting isn't for you, or maybe you're in a space close to something that needs to stay quiet, a sleeping family member, etc., feel free to sit with us or stand with us in presence instead. Always okay to follow your own discernment around that sort of thing. Otherwise, close the eyes. Let your body find a relatively neutral place to be. Let your hands rest somewhere that doesn't draw any unneeded attention in their direction. Take a moment just to notice how things really are. To clear and prepare the energetic channel of the body, take a big deep inhale in through your nose. And open mouth, exhale, HA. Inhale, prepare for Om. 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 Take your nose and a slow exhale out. Now for today, you might begin lying on your back. And so you can lie down on the back in any way that you like. You can take your legs out long or bring the soles of your feet to the mat so your knees bend up towards the ceiling or the sky. You might bring your arms down by your sides or rest hands on belly or heart. Take the arms up overhead if it feels of more use to you. Any position that's relatively sustainable, which might mean not on your back at all, is what the offering. So you could rest on your side or on your belly instead, or choose a seat. The idea of grounding is to arrive with gravity, to begin the ritual, to find a place of openness and ease, a little bit of introspection, so that we can do a little work of attention paying to the internal life. So as you find this settle in place, begin to pay attention to how things are in the external point of view. Notice the sense objects that rise up into and fall out of the field of your awareness. These might be sights or sounds, anything you see with your eyes or hear with your ears or sense with your organs, anything like temperature or touch with your skin and pressure, proprioception, the sense of where your body is in space. You might consider how these external sensations tend to pull us around because they've really helped us survive. They're really well developed in a certain way for what it is we are trying to get through in nature in this cycle of our lives. And so as you start to practice pratyahara, as you revolve your awareness towards the internal point of view, begin to notice the attachment to the external point of view. I notice it a lot. As you start to notice the internal point of view, you might notice the body, how it feels on the inside, right? The organs moving, the pressures and sensations. You might notice a sense of energy, like mood or quality. Maybe you know how your wheels are spinning and you have a ritual, things are turning, etc. You might notice any emotions of pertinent awareness to be acknowledged. And the ask is not to be any different than how you are. And in fact, the most powerful practice is going to be with what you are and where you are. And so allow a sense of permission, if you can today, to be as you really are, to do the practice with authenticity in that way. And begin to consider your thinking mind in the same way that you listen for your other sensations. Your mind thinks the way your eyes see or your tongue tastes. And so what are you thinking? What is the form of your thoughts and what is the content? Maybe you can watch the thoughts roll up. Maybe it's the same wave thought again and again, an obsessive thought. Maybe it's a cacophony of many thoughts. Beginning to notice that because you're observing your thoughts, you are not your thoughts. Right? You are that which is bearing witness to your thoughts. As you continue to bear witness to the sensations, remember that it is a great privilege to bear witness to our sensations. So allow gratitude to be a part of your practice. You might ignite or join gratitude with awareness with your breath using Ujjayi Pranayama, the snoring and sighing breath. If you have an Ujjayi practice, begin to churn it now. Otherwise, it can guide you in. This is a breath you do on purpose. It's a second nature breath, which means you have to decide to do it or it won't happen. Ujjayi can be strange and different, so be kind to yourself. Remember, deep breath that's sustainable is the point of view. So exhale the air you have in your lungs, get empty. Take a slow inhale in through your nose. Fill your belly and then your ribs and then your chest and hold softly at mostly full. Open mouth, exhale, HA. Good. Inhale in again through your nose slowly. And sigh it out one more time. Ujjayi. Breathe in through your nose. Fill your back body and your back ribs, maybe up to your shoulder blades, and hold it softly at mostly full. Seal your lips and sigh out through your nose, that same HA sound, but through your nostrils. And continuing, breathe in through your nose, snoring. Out through your nose, sighing. And push and pull in your breath, not with your throat, though you might feel it in your throat or the base of your throat space, but with your belly and your rib cage. Feel them expand and contract. And go slow enough, let it feel easy enough, soft enough that it doesn't become forced or stressful. And if it does, you can always let it go and choose a different way of breathing. Breathe out of your mouth or out of your nose. Slowly start to move your body. You can wiggle your, shift your hips from side to side. You could start to take your arms out overhead and stretch. You might bend your knees and place the soles of your feet on the mat if you haven't done so already. And knock your knees from side to side. And slowly in the next few rounds of breath, lying on your back, that is, gather your knees into your chest, hug them in. You can either roll to one side and sit up or start to rock and roll back and forth into the hands and knees position, table shop shape together. So as you arrive in tabletop, stack your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Many of you have context for these postures, so know that the idea of making it accessible is to repeat them in case someone is new to them. But think of feeling as really the accessibility context, right? Where does it feel stable? Where do you feel strong? Bodies are very diverse. Stability will look different in everyone. As you set up in this way, you might choose knees a little wider, a little closer. Notice that your lower back will naturally have a little pressure, a little backward bend. Let's cow cat tilt. Inhale to cow pose. Drop your belly and your ribs. Lift your chin and your tailbone. Exhale to cat. Tuck your tail, tuck your chin, curl your spine, draw your breastbone up. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale to cat. And continue to coordinate your breath and your movement. Or at least to free up your breath so it's happening, not holding while you're moving. Pranayama, to unconstrain the breath through intention. Your next exhale, return to neutral, tabletop. Do a little spinal extension. We've been doing this exercise. Be mindful with yourself, and remember you can always do just arm and then just leg as opposed to doing arm and leg to find stability if that control feels good. All right, inhale. Take your left leg back and your right arm forward. You might draw the belly in so there isn't so much bend in the low back if that feels supportive. And exhale, hand down, knee down. Inhale to reach, left arm forward, right leg back. Exhale, hand down, knee down. Yeah, you got the pattern probably. Inhale, right arm forward, left leg back. Exhale to replace. Inhale to extend, and exhale to replace. Now, as you do this, if that attention paying is interesting, notice if you're sort of shifting your hips from side to side and see if you can work on staying centralized a little bit. Work and play need to have a good relationship with one another. So don't do too much work in your creative practice. But some is a good idea for safety, stability, the alchemy of change. And the next time you're replacing your left hand and right knee on the mat, pause there until we all meet up. All right, child's pose. You can widen your knees and shift your hips towards your heels. Your hips don't have to come to your heels. In fact, you might choose a child's pose that's more forward with your head stacked on blocks or on fists or on hands. You can choose knees together for a more rounded back. Knees wide tends to allow more extension of the spine. You can come down and forward to any degree that you wish. If the knees feel bony or tender, feel free to pad them by folding your mat over and folding the back of your mat between your hips and your heels. can always use a couch cushion or a pillow. If you need a prop to help create distance, remember to honor your body. Good. Bring your arms out long, press into your hands. Inhale to tabletop. And exhale, bend your elbows a little bit and drop your shoulders into your back. Some people call these, I think, like trap push-ups. I'm not sure. Inhale to press back up. Exhale, bend your elbows. They're probably like 5 people thinking, I know exactly what they're called. We're just trying to do these little shoulder dips, right? So we're not necessarily moving the rest of the body. Squeeze the shoulder blades together at the bottom. Spread them out at the top, behind the heart. Good. All right, inhale, curl your toes under. Exhale to down dog. Spin your knees and hips up and back and begin to breathe and move. You might bend opposite knee to plug opposite heel down. Shift your hips from side to side. Nod your head yes and no. Give yourself a little permission to noodle around a little bit. Break the constraints of your mat. If you're on one, move off the lines a little bit. If you're lifting an arm or a leg or bending a joint, notice the stability of pressing down into gravity, whatever happens to be pushing down for grounding, stability. And notice if you're still breathing. A lot of effort in the shoulders, neck, upper body sometimes in this posture. For folks, you may find you're not breathing as much. Just send your breath into your belly, into your back, all the way down into the floor of your pelvis. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, tiptoe your feet to the top of your mat and hang in forward fold, Uttanasana. Feel free to bend your knees, flip your palms up, grab opposite elbow with opposite hand, and sway it from side to side. Breathe as you will. Do some halfway lifting. Feel free to keep your knees quite bent. Inhale and roll your heart. Press hands to shins or thighs, perhaps blocks or a table nearby. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. One more time, follow your own breath, rhythm and timing. Soften your knees, inhale. Exhale, step your left foot to the back of the mat in a long, low lunge. You can tend to your fingertips or draw your hands up to blocks or your top or front knee. Inhale to cow lunge, dip your back knee, lift your heart up. Exhale towards cat lunge, straightening your front leg, pause, hang your head. If your hands aren't on the ground, know that that's pretty human. You can always step your back foot in and bring your back heel down if that gives you more stability. Utilize bending the knees if you feel pain and insertion points to get the stretch into the belly of your muscles if you need to. Relax your neck and try to let your upper body hang or curl. Tuck your chin and bring your forehead towards your knee. Good. Inhale, cow lunge. Step your back foot back. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to cat lunge, straightening your front leg, rounding. Good. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, plank. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Take an inhale. Exhale your knees to the mat. Lower your chest to the mat. Come all the way down. Cobra pose. Inhale, slide forward and up. Press the tops of your feet down. And exhale to bring your chin or forehead down. Good. Repeat. Inhale, cow pose. Lift your chin up. Press your feet down. And exhale to cat. Or excuse me, to lower down. But it does have that element, right? Inhale, curl up like we did in cow pose on hands and knees. And exhale, there's a sense of rounding as you lower down. Curl your toes under. Inhale through hands and knees position. Exhale to downward dog. Hi, Albert. Nod your head, yes and no. Bend your knees. Press into your hands. Take an inhale, perhaps gaze forward, and exhale, walk your feet up to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, Utkatasana. Sink your hips low. Inhale, arms forward, outer up, whatever is kind to your shoulders. Let your tail stick out and your spine backward bend. Let your navel draw back. Take a big free inhale to soften your face and jaw. And exhale, fold forward, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take an inhale to soften your knees. And use the exhale to step your right foot back, long low lunge, long breaths if you can. Inhale to cow lunge, dip your back knee, lift your heart. Exhale to cat lunge, round in. Good, pause. And take a moment in this cat lunge to notice where weight is in your body. Again, you might draw your back foot forward, spin your heel down, press into your feet. You can use your hands as much as you need to. A lot of bodies will be up here, and that might be true for you, rounding in space where your hamstring asks you to stop. You might press up against a wall, in fact, or a chair nearby. Inhale, cow lunge. Slide your right foot back, bend your left knee, lift your chest up. Exhale, cat lunge, round in. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, plank pose. Plant your hands, step back, inhale. Exhale, knees to the mat. Tail out, chest to the mat, chin to the mat, or lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Flatten the feet to peel up the front of the chest. And exhale, bring your upper body down. Curl your toes from knees or from toes. Inhale to plank. Exhale to downward dog. Spin your tail high. Relax your neck and breathe. Ujjayi pranayama. Down dog is often a good place just to notice, am I breathing? Because you're upside down. There's a little bit of backwards pressure, as it were, on your body. Exhales might feel extra effective. All right, inhale, press into your hands, lift your gaze. Exhale to the top of the mat, hang in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding deeply. Bend your knees and round yourself up slowly towards standing. Bend your knees as much as you need to so that you can feel each bone stacking. If you do have disc issues, feel free to flat back up instead or to stand up in a way that is ergonomic in your body. When you arrive at standing, take a moment. You might have to futz with something. That's just real. And if you do, it's okay. See if you can do it with the same awareness that you are attending to your postures, or do it on purpose. Otherwise, try to let yourself be. Let your arms hang, let your body stand. We're practicing samastitihi. You might have your feet hips distance. You might walk them together to touch or leave space for your heels. Sama, same. Stitihi, standing in attention. Stand in your own attention. Stand in the field of your own awareness. And remember that, like any other meditation practice, your focus will go. Like a boomerang, you'll have to draw it back again and again and again. And so that drawing back again, that's the practice, not the succeeding and steady stream of focus, at least for most of us. Allow yourself to practice failing and not let that deter you from practicing again. And follow your next inhale into fluttering your eyes open, your next exhale into tuning into the space around you. And slowly at first, Surya Namaskara, A. Inhale your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, the arms up pose, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold, dive down, stick out your tail, bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your spine straight out. And exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Step or float back and lower halfway or all the way. If you lowered halfway, inhale to up dog or Urdhva Hastasana in the tops of your feet down. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and exhale to down dog, tail high, heels low. Yeah, breathing. Definitely going to be a day of confused words. The good news is listening to your breath is really more pertinent than listening to anything I've got to say about it. Consider what it's like to be in process, practicing something that you will truly never win at, something that there is no such thing as clear success. What are you doing if you don't have a dualistic context to buy into, as it were? Press into your hands. Inhale. Exhale, step or float to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up, pose. This one's Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. And exhale, Samasthiti. Return to neutral. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana of your choice. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana or Cobra. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Breathing 3 to 5 breaths. Press into your hands, extend through your shoulders. Relax your neck. Always feel free to bend your knees and lift your heels in down dog. Eventually, you might find that as you shift weight back into your feet, you're also pressing them down into the earth. Next exhale, step, hop, or float to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up, pose, Urdhva Hasta Asana. Exhale, Samasthiti, return to neutral. It's a cycle. Ekam, inhale, arms up. Due, exhale, folding deeply. Trini, inhale, unroll to set. Chatwari, exhale, step or float. Chaturanga Dandasana, Pancha, inhale. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Shat, exhale. Adho Mukha Svanasana, Ujjayi Pranayama, in and out through your nose. Press into your hands and use your next available exhale to step or float forward and land on your feet at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, Supta. Exhale, forward fold, Ashtau, Noah. Inhale all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. Exhale, Samasthiti, return to neutral. So those words are number counts a cycle. Ekam, inhale, arms up. Due, exhale, folding deeply. Trini, inhale, and roll to set. Chatwari, exhale. Chaturanga Dandasana, Pancha, inhale. Upward dog pose. Shat, exhale. Downward dog pose. Ujjayi Pranayama, breathing. And try to let the breath have ease as much as it has structure and intention. Exhale, float forward, land on your feet. Supta, inhale, unrolling. Ashto, exhale, folding. Noah, inhale all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Last one, inhale, arms up, pose. Exhale, folding deeply. Inhale and roll to set. Chaturanga, exhale. Pancha, inhale, upward dog. Back to downward facing dog pose. Breathe. Notice where you harbor tension. Is it necessary to create structure, or is it patterned against the stresses, traumas, effects of life? Is it necessary now? Sometimes it takes persistence to liberate ourselves from those sorts of things. Years of persistence. Exhale, step or float. Forward, inhale, unroll. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Nice work. We're going to do 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar B. First one slow, so if you're not familiar with it, you have a moment to get to know it. Take an inhale. Exhale to bend your knees and sink your hips low for Utkatasana, the fierce pose. Weight in your heels. Inhale your arms forward or up. Classically, in the form I've learned, we bring our hands towards one another, but in some shoulder joints, it's better to have your hands shoulder distance or even out to the sides or to bend your elbows. So if that's you, do it. Stick your tail out and breathe. Draw your belly in. Lift up the front of your body and take an inhale. Exhale, fold forward, dive over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Still inhaling, lift your hips up and back. Exhale, down dog, and while still exhaling, step your right foot forward, behind or towards your right hand, in between your hands. Spin your back heel down, and inhale to warrior one. Rise up. Arms again can frame the face, maybe palms touch, breathe. You're welcome to look forward or up, but settle into your heels, strike them down. Back knee straightening, front knee bending, body moving towards front facing. Take an inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, hands down, step it back to lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Still exhaling, left foot steps. Right heel roots, inhale. Virabhadrasana, the noble hero, warrior one, arms up, pause to breathe. Relax your shoulders. See if you can bring intelligence into the lower body. You don't necessarily need to remove the curve from your lower back. If it feels over pressurized, navel back, floor of the pelvis up. Take an inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step it back, lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Breathe 3 to 5 breaths like in Sane, Ujjayi Pranayama. If bringing your back heel down in warrior postures, twist your knee. Keep your back heel up, do a lunge instead. Exhale, step hopper, float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana, arms up, still inhaling, stand all the way up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Take a big free inhale through your nose. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog, right foot, left heel. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step it back, keep your heart open, your eyes forward. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, left foot, right heel. Inhale, warrior one, arms up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step it back. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, breathe, Ujjayi Pranayama. In and out through your nose. Try not to control your breath so much as to have a relationship with it. Exhale, float forward. Inhale and roll halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, Utkata. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Or always cobra's an option. Exhale, down dog, right foot. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, left foot. Inhale, warrior one, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step it back. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Sorry, I was evading a bee, and breathe in and out through your nose. That would be a really complicated vinyasa. Maybe we'll try it sometime. Exhale, float forward. Land on your feet. Inhale, unroll. Halfway, exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Inhale, arms up, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, crouch down and curl. So lift your heels up, sink your hips, and round. Even if you don't have to lift your heels, lift them a little so the weight is forward in the balls of your feet. Breathe into your back and side ribs a few breaths as you round your spine. Bring your forehead towards your knees. You can hug your arms around your knees if you wish, or use your hands for balance. Using the support of your hands, use your next exhale to start to land your heels. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and step your left foot back. Long low lunge. Keep all 10 toes facing front, so lift your back heel. You may choose a wider, narrower stance from right to left. Inhale, rise to high lunge, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Arms can frame the face. Feel free to create a bit of a back bend, to look up, maybe to look back, without settling weight back. Bring it forward and down into your front right heel. Take an inhale. And exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank pose, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. In downward facing dog pose, inhale your right leg up, one-footed dog. Exhale, scorpion the dog. Open your hip and bend your knee. Good. Inhale, straighten your leg and reach it high, back, and long. And exhale, bring your knee in towards your chest to step it forward between your hands. All 10 toes face forward once more. Inhale up, high lunge, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. This time, exhale, flip your left palm up, grab your left wrist with your right hand, and side body bend to the right, pulling your body over perhaps with the strength of your right arm. Inhale back through center, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to the mat, frame your foot. Using the strength of your right foot, inhale, pick your left leg up, L stand. I'm trying to think about bringing it perpendicular, about a 90-degree angle to your right leg, whether knees are bent or straight. Use an exhale to place your left foot down next to your right foot, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. This time we're going to squat. So walk your feet mat's distance apart. I'll turn to face you and sink your hips low. You can bring hands to heart center to lift your chest tall. You're always welcome to do this differently. Bring weight into your hands in a different way. Give yourself permission to move through those ideas as you wish. If your heels need to lift, let them lift. If your feet need to go wider, let them go wider. Take a big free inhale. And exhale, fold forward, lift your hips high, walk your feet underneath your sockets. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll. Exhale, fold and step your right foot back, long low lunge. Inhale to high lunge, crescent lunge. Pause when you arrive. I really like the version of this where you come high on the ball of your back foot as opposed to sinking back, as it gives us more stability and strength through the front leg, like the front half of Utkatasana, as it were, the left half. Draw your tail down, your belly in. Take another inhale to stretch up. And exhale, hands down. Step back to plank, Chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale to lift your left leg high and long, one-footed dog. And exhale, open your hip and bend your knee. Make a little extra space for it. Good. Inhale, straighten the leg and reach it back. And exhale, drawing your leg towards your chest to bring your foot between and a bit to the left. Inhale, arms up, reaching up, Anjaneyasana. All of these can be done with the back heel down if you prefer. Exhale, side bend to the left. Use your left hand to pull your right arm over. Flare your right ribs out. Inhale back through center, reaching up. Exhale, hands down, frame your front foot. Now you can always utilize blocks or a wall nearby instead for some pressure, some support. Inhale to that standing L, press up, extending your leg back, your heart forward. And exhale as you're ready, right foot down next to the left foot. Hang your head, your upper body. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, crouch down, curl your body, lift your heels up. So this time, in this crouched position, we're going to work a little bit of balance. I'm going to turn to face you so it might be more visible, we'll see. Or be at this angle rather so you can see it. And as you start to tilt yourself up, tilt your knees down. Now for some of us, We're going to need props or a wall nearby so that we have something to catch us. If your knees really hate being compressed, this one isn't for you. Do something else. You know what I mean? And always email me and be like, what do I do? And you say do something else. I'll always give you an answer if you'd like. Be creative about how you might practice balance in some other way. Otherwise, we're trying to get to a place you can tilt the knees forward and down and lift the body over the heels. You might even lift your hips up a little bit off your heels. You might even take your arms up over your head. And then if you really want to challenge your balance, I like to shake my arms because then I have to work in my lower body while I'm freeing my hands. Be gentle. You don't have to be violent in your shaking. Good. Take another inhale wherever you are in this work and slowly exhale to come back towards forward folding. Lift your hips, hang your upper body over your legs. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, fold and step your left foot back. You're welcome to come up through that L shape on the way. Once all 10 toes are forward, high lunge, crescent lunge style. Inhale your arms up, reaching upward. And exhale. Let's find warrior two. Spin your left heel down. Widen your arms out. You might adjust your feet, the distance between your legs. Reach out through your fingertips and drop your shoulder blades down. Settle into your heels. Try to relax any grabbing in your toes. Let the curves of your body take up space. Good. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Let's find triangle pose. I like a shorter stance. You might step your back foot forward, stick your tail out and tilt forward. Right hand can come to the shin, the ground, the block, the thigh. It's less about how far down you get, really finding a vector where you can twist your spine. Take your left arm up, stick your tail out, draw your navel back, almost like a back bend and a twist. Breathing. Good. Inhale stands you up. Exhale, warrior two. Slide your feet out. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Flip your right palm up. Sweep the arm up and back. Side bending as you slide your left hand down your left leg. Exhale, hands to the mat. Frame your front foot. Step back or float your right leg back. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Usually both feet on the ground by now. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. All right, inhale your right leg up and back, one-footed dog. Exhale, scorpion dog. Open the hip and bend your knee. Inhale, straighten your leg and reach it high back and long. Exhale, step it forward towards your hands. All right. Now, all 10 toes face forward. Drop your back knee down. Pick up your foot and turn your foot so it's more, your shin will become perpendicular to your right foot. Math questions. Basically, we're trying to come up a bit like a buccaneer, right? So we're in this stance where we are upright. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see it. Yeah. Inside or outside of your foot. I'm going to offer a little binding work to stretch the hip and the shoulder. If you wish to work on binding, the first thing you might do is take your hand that's on the ground and bring it inside and behind your right foot to the outside edge. So it's over here and back, and try to work your shoulder down behind your knee. You might stay right there. You might bring your top hand to your hip and breathe. But also take the top arm around behind the back. Bring the back of the hand to the small of the back and work towards binding your hands. Breathe. Press your shoulder into your leg into your shoulder. At any point where your body meets itself, notice the hugging pressure that you're looking for. And take another big free inhale. And exhale, release. All right, take your back foot and turn it on out. We're going to do a little bit of short stance twisting. So keep your back knee close to your front heel relatively, so it's more like a marriage proposal stance, as it were, than lunging to run a race. Rise up onto your front knee thigh. You can stand on the thigh, as it were. Make sure your back foot feels stable. Some of us will sort of have a desire to curl or sickle. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, but just sort of notice where is stability for you. Then inhale to reach your left arm up overhead, and exhale, twist to the right. Bring your right hand to your right hip, your right elbow back, and turn. Now notice that the hip and the leg want to come with you, right? Keep them relatively stable as you turn from the waist up. You can stay here and start to reach forward as far as it feels good. You might bring your left elbow on top of your knee and hold your head in your hand. You might bring your left elbow to the outside of your knee. And from here, you can reach your hand towards the earth if you wish, or you can work towards, occasionally, someone likes to work on binding here, bringing the bottom hand through and the top hand around. Remember, if you try it and it doesn't work, what does it feel like to practice doing something that doesn't work out? Where is the resiliency practice in allowing ourselves to do things we know we need to, even when we know they don't have a guarantee of success? Good, and slowly exhale to unwind and release. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up off the mat. Inhale, extend, standing L or standing split. Kick your left foot to the sky, fold your body towards your right leg. Use an exhale to bring 2 feet down and together. Good, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to the yogi squat, malasana, or some folks call it mandukasana. Widen your feet, sink your hips low, lift your chest up. You can press and exhale to release it down. Take another inhale. And forward fold position, straighten your knees, lift your hips, hang your head. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll. Exhale, fold. And plant your left foot down. And take your right leg up and back. You might find that L shape again as you exhale to step your right foot. Long, low lunge, all 10 toes. Face forward. Inhale to the high lunge, the crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, and exhale to warrior 2. Spin your back heel down, widen out your legs, take some time to adjust. Find a little bit of space between. A lot of us will feel stretch in different areas and we'll need different angles of feet. So instead of trying to line something up to the symmetry of your yoga mat, listen to the arches and curves of your own body. Find a stability of pressing down and lifting up at the same time. Good. From here, we're going to find the triangle pose. So inhale, straighten your front leg and scoot your back foot in. Stick your tail out and tilt forward and down to shin thigh. Now, some people like to do this as a side bend, and if it's for you, feel free. Traditions I've learned, I find the twisting really valuable for me. So I roll my back hip forward and down, the right hip, and I use abdominal muscles, back muscles, spine muscles to twist. Strong legs will help you feel less uprooted so you can move from the center as opposed to from the neck or the shoulders or the fingertips. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, warrior 2. Flip the left palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, hands down, step back or float your foot back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale your left leg high, one-footed dog. Exhale, scorpion, open the hip, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten and reach. And exhale, step your foot forward between your hands. And bring your back knee down to the mat. And turn your right foot behind your left heel and come to rise up into buccaneer stance. If you've ever done paddleboard yoga, that's where I learned this stance. Reach your arms out. Gives us a little break from the back hip work to work into the shoulders, a little more room. And we'll find sliding down. Also bring your elbow to your knee. You'll get the work there as well. Your hand to a block or a stack of books inside or outside of your foot. As you hang and twist, notice your ability to press your knee into your body or your shoulder and it. Back, bring two hands behind you. Roll your heart over. That's what's on the ground. Top of foot, shin, heel. You can allow stability to emerge in conversation. Good. Release it on the exhale. And turn your right foot back to face the back point of the mat. Make sure you have quite a short stance and rise up. And do some rounded, some aponic twisting. Inhale to bring your right arm up. And I like to think of it as a, like sort of truth slash. We're slashing the pinky finger around and over. You might bring your elbow to your knee. You might bring your elbow, your left hand to your left hip. You can reach in the extended form. This is a little bit more of a functional active form of the posture. You might allow yourself to round and curl. So we're not trying to extend the spine. This is so often recommended in yoga. We're trying to round ourselves, almost wrapping your body around your left leg. Breathe into your low belly. Twist your spine. Notice again how you're measuring what you're doing. Are you waiting to pay attention to the pose until you've wrangled yourself into it? Are you paying attention on the way? What kindness can you allot yourself in this moment? And slowly unwind to release your hands down. Curl your back toes under and lift your back knee up off the mat. And bring weight into your left heel and inhale, standing L or split, kick the sky or kick what's behind you in a 90-degree function. Exhale, 2 feet down at the top of your mat. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, forward fold to crouch down. So bend your knees and sink your hips. We're going to do a little bit of Pashasana prep. Pashasana, I think, is quite a difficult posture. So I'm going to suggest that if you have a mat, you roll up your mat a lot. The other option is to use a block or a book for your heels and put your toes on the ground. I'm going to demonstrate it from the side so that it's relatively clear. And I will use the block so that I have the ability to do this. I have really big arches in my feet, so I can do this with relative ease. You might find that you can't, and you need lower block, which again, roll up the mat to the height that you need it. And you are trying to lift yourself up so you have a little bit of lift in front. Today we're going to work with just one leg, so let your knees be a little wide as opposed to together. We're going to twist to the left first because it's classical. And we're break the mold. You don't have to twist right every time. Twist to the left. You can take your right arm in between your legs and hug your left leg. Breathe into your left thigh. If you have mobility and get all the way around, you feel free to go all the way around. You might take your arms out in that case, or wrap them around to bind your left leg up. Breathing. All right, let it go. And come off the block or the mat for a moment and hang in forward fold. You interweave your fingers behind you and drift your wrists forward and down. And slowly release your hands to hang. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale once again on the rolled mat or on your block. Sink your hips down and we'll twist to the right. You can hug around your right leg and breathe. You might bring your body close to it, another aponic baby. You could squeeze your shoulder with your opposite knee if it felt good. If you feel like you can make it all the way around, you might bring your left elbow, shoulder outside of your right knee, and take your arms out, or work to bind around your right leg or both legs. If you have a practice of Pashasana that you already do, feel free to do it your way. And give yourself a couple of good breaths. Good. Slowly release the knotted up pose. Find forward folding when you're ready once more. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step or float. Inhale, upward dog, or an alternate. Exhale, downward dog pose. Good, very nice. Inhale, take your left leg up, one-footed dog. We'll stick with a little of this left leg starting business. And exhale, step your left foot outside your left hand for lizard or dragon. I'm going to start with an active form with the back knee lifted. So make it really long if you have the space. You might even scooch your left foot forward, your right foot back. They really are coming forward and down. And take your left arm around behind your left foot as we were doing earlier. And try to bring your shoulder behind your knee. Now you might hang your head and try to bring your head towards your leg. Some of us will come down onto the elbow and turn to the left with our gaze, with the chin. You might bring your chin over your left shin. A few folks might bring their head behind their leg. Remember, nobody pays them more at work because they can do that. You can always work with the back knee down instead, altering variations. Good. And exhale, release, get out of there. Place your back knee on the ground, flatten the top of the foot down, lift your heart up. We'll do a little quad stretch and twisting to the left. So right hand or elbow under the heart or the nose. Inhale your left arm up, twist to the left. You can always turn your left toes out. Some folks like to roll to the blade of the foot. Just be mindful you're not averting the function of the action into a different joint that now is taking too much pressure, etc. Try to find balance and action in your own way from feeling. And bend your back knee and reach for your foot as I am. You can also reach for a pant leg, an Achilles tendon. You can also kick into your hand to help pick yourself up. Good. Exhale to release the back foot down. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up. And walk your hands towards your right foot, turning into a wide-legged forward fold. You can set your feet on your mat in a way that feels symmetrical and good for you if you like to organize that way. You can have your hands on blocks, your hands under your shoulders. You can bend your knees if you need to. Prasarita Padottanasana, if you know a variation. Classically, you're welcome to bring your hands to shoulder distance, bend your elbows, press the earth away to bring the crown of your head down. Turn the pelvis or the heads of the thigh bones. Inhale, unroll like a halfway lift. And exhale, let's do a side squat towards your right foot. So walk your hands over, Skandasana, lift your left toes up, balance on your heel. For many of us, this will be up here, and that's chill. Listen to the shape of your hip sockets. A stable hip socket is actually a great evolutionary trait generally. If you're down here and you feel pretty stable and you want to take your arms out or work towards binding, feel free to play. Breathe. And exhale, low lunge to the front of the mat. Walk your hands towards your left foot. Spin your right heel up. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way down to the front seam of your body. All right. I'm going to take the crocodile posture. Take your right arm straight out to the right. It can be at shoulder height. You might bring it up to nose height. Some folks will feel better back towards hip height. Experiment. Look to the left and roll onto the right side of your body. Now drop your head. You might rest it on a hand or a prop. You can use your left hand to stabilize you on the ground. You might choose instead to drape it behind your back like a server in a French restaurant. Breathe. And slowly roll back into the front seam of your body. Bring your hands under your shoulders from knees or toes. Press up. Move back to downward facing dog pose. I'm going to flip around so I can face you. And go ahead and inhale your right leg up, one-footed dog. Exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand. And stay high on the ball of your back foot. Bring your right hand around to the inside of your right foot and behind it to the outside. You can stay here, hang your head and breathe. Try to work your shoulder underneath and behind your knee. Some of us will work with the front forearm down, grab the ankle and turn to the right. You might turn your right toes out to the right or roll to the blade of your foot. You might bring your chin over your shin or your head behind your leg. You could also bring your back knee down if it feels different or better to do so. Sometimes there's less space to get underneath. Good. And let's climb out of there. Lower the back knee if you haven't done so already. Plant down your left hand or elbow underneath your heart and begin to inhale to twist to the right. Right hand can be on right knee. You're welcome to reach your arm up. If you're reaching around to bind, just be kind to your knee joint, be kind to your body. Notice where there's acute pressure versus broad stretch or broad compression. Good, and slowly release. 2 hands down to the mat. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up, inhale. And exhale, walk your hands towards your left foot until you're once again in Prasarita Padottanasana, the wide-footed fold. Take an inhale and exhale to fold down. And if you prefer to have your hands on blocks or to be more lifted, please feel free to do the version that makes sense for you. Otherwise, we're going to skip and go straight to D variation. You can grab for your feet, your ankles, your big toes, and leverage yourself down by pulling, bending your elbows straight out to the sides. Breathe. Good. Inhale, unroll your heart. And exhale, side squat towards your left foot. Walk your hands over, turn your left toes out, spin your right toes up to rest on the back of your right heel, Achilles tendon. You can use your hands to support you. For a lot of folks, this is kind of one of those purgatory postures. So if it's real awkward and strange, it's on point, right? Give yourself time to notice how it is to be with that. If you have a little space to play, a little arm variation to take your arms out or to bind behind your back, feel free to do so. Good. Take another big free inhale. Exhale, low lunge to your right foot towards the front of your mat. Spin it around. Spin your back heel up. Inhale, plank pose. And exhale, lower all the way down. And this time, take your left arm straight out. Look to the right and roll onto the left side of your body. Drop your right hip behind. You don't need your right arm. You might drape it behind you. There's a version where you grab your hands. Most people I see do it to bring their hands way down towards their hips, which might just change the stretch, which is just to note it and do it how you'd like to do it. Slowly release with your breath back onto the front of your body. Use your right hand to support you. Curl your toes under, knees or toes. Inhale up through plank. Exhale back to downward facing dog pose. Take another big free inhale. Exhale, lower your knees to the mat. Find tabletop. Take a few cows and cats. We'll do a little bit of shoulder work from this position, working into actions in the neck and chest before going deeper into the hips. Take an inhale to reach your left arm up. And exhale, thread the needle, go underneath and behind your right wrist, come down to shoulder, ear, or jaw, and breathe. Might feel good after that crocodile to release in this way. If you feel like your feet get light, you can always cross them, pull them against each other, press them down. Sometimes the landing pad needs to be closer to the knees or closer to the front of the mat. You can do any variation you like with your right arm. Reach it up, out, around behind the back. Keep it stable. Component of this posture is compression. And not to shy away from letting things get heavy and a bit smushed. Return your right hand to the mat. Inhale your left arm back out and up. Exhale to tabletop, 2 hands down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, thread the needle underneath and behind. And again, we'll be here for a few breaths. You might work into the same variations, but we're often asymmetrical in the body through action, through genetics. You might need to do something different or might require a different address from side to side. Allow that to be true. All right, return your left hand to the mat. Inhale your right arm out and then up, reaching upward. Exhale to tabletop, 2 hands on the earth. All right. You can cross your ankles and sit down behind them or take your legs out to one side to find a seat on your mat. Last bit of hip stretching and a little bit of strength work left. A few more impossible tasks. Start with Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of your feet together and your knees wide. You can hold the soles open if you like. You're welcome to stay upright. There's a lot of benefit to sort of using the arches of your spine to pull yourself up and forward. You might find that you're folding forward over your legs in a real direct way. You can round. It's okay to round your spine. You can extend your spine if you like to. Hang your head. Breathe. Slowly round yourself up. And use your hands to draw your knees up and take your legs out long. And use a little manual rolling of your quadriceps over your femur bones, a little rolling of your legs in and out in your hip sockets. And then let's take the legs out wide. Upavishta Konasana. You can pull the flesh out from underneath you to tilt your pelvis up. I like to. It doesn't have to be super wide. Wherever it feels right for you is the place. Everyone's hip socket and thigh bone are shaped differently, right, from each other's. And so as you give yourself permission, you might stay up right here. If you feel like you're sort of rolling back to the backs of your sitting bones, use your hands behind you with your fingers pointed back to press your heart up like up dog. You could hang your head down. You have space, feasibility to fold forward and down. Feel free to fold down. Secret truth is you don't necessarily have to keep your ankles flexed, like keep your body safe. If you feel like you need that flexion, do. That resistance can sometimes give us information. Move stretch into broader areas, move pressure of action to broader spaces of the body, as opposed to acute areas and insertions. Slowly round yourself up. All right, here's the strength bit. I'm going to do a little bit of lifting of the body up. So turn it towards your right leg and bring your right hand to the outside edge of your right hip or thigh and your left hand in front of you. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, lean and round over your right leg. Kick your heels into the ground, legs straightening. Press your hands down and inhale. Try to lift your seat off the ground. Good. Exhale, put it down. Try being the operative term. Turn to the left. Same business. Inhale. Exhale to round over. Bend your elbows if there's space, and then inhale. Press yourself hips and put it down. Good. Let's do a deep Exhale, round over. Inhale, press it up. You might lift your legs up and put it all down. All right, now in the center, put your hands down. Inhale. Exhale, round forward. Kick your heels down and inhale. Try to lift up. You might find you're sliding your legs up your arms and exhale to put them back down. Good. We can do that again. Press your hands down. Inhale. Exhale, round over and inhale. Press it up. Maybe your heels get light and put it back down. All right. You can do a little kind rolling of the wrists or bring the backs of your hands together and roll them out if they're tight. When you're ready, grab behind your legs, bring the soles of your feet to the mat, and roll down onto your back as you are ready. And from here, you can assess what is needed for you. Maybe you know you need a back bend. Maybe you know you need to head to rest right away. I'm going to suggest we take a little bit of bridge pose. You can always take Urdhva Dhanurasana, the upward bow, instead of this Setu Bandh form of Sarvangasana if you wish. Bring your hands by your sides and press them down. Take an exhale. And inhale, lift your hips up. Roll your shoulder blades together underneath you. You're welcome to interweave your fingers if you like. Press by using your hips, your glute muscles, your butt cheeks, utilizing your hamstrings, plugging your heels down. Don't worry if your knees come a little wider than hips distance, as long as there's no knee pain, it's okay. Let your shoulders be heavy and your neck be neutral. Do your best not to crank your neck around. Next couple of exhales, slowly unlock any hold in the fingers and roll all the way down onto your mat. And once you get there, unless you have to knock a bee off of your shirt, you can drop your knees from side to side and breathe. Let yourself loosen. Another nice thing to do for some folks is bring the legs up and shake them to relieve the lower back tension in the hips. I'm going to suggest coming towards a supine form of Baddha Konasana, letting the soles of the feet come together and the knees wide. You can stay in this position or start to consider what resting would look like. Maybe you want to bring your knees into your chest and that's what feels good for you. Maybe you'll lie on your side or your belly or your back. Perhaps there's a pet that's going to come through and cuddle with you. Perhaps you need to walk over to a comfy piece of furniture. And maybe you know you want to sit in meditation for resting. And we'll rest for a few minutes. So if you know you want to take an extra long rest, you might turn off your recording and then turn it back on when you're ready to emerge. If you know you need an even shorter rest, the same thing might be true. Otherwise, I'll call you up and out when it's time to return to action. Until then, let your body rest into the ground. Resist the desire to fidget or fix anything. Soften your jaw, your tongue, your teeth. The gravity pull in your bones. Pay attention to how things really are. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahimahishaha Go Brahmanyebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhinom Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Little by slowly begin to add some breath and movement to your Shavasana. Wiggle your fingers and toes. In your own way and timing, rise towards the seat. Go slow, take 5 or 6 breaths. As you go, I'll talk about that chant, which is a traditional closing chant in the lineage of Krishnamacharya, from which Vinyasa Yoga comes. Its overarching meaning is, may there be victory to the energy that creates. May the noble practitioners and leaders here be blessed, and may their work be effective and cultivate abundance. May we all seek to use our work for the betterment of all and for the creation of universal, non-dualistic peace, love, freedom, liberation. All right, if you wish, you can fold your hands in Anjali Mudra, prayer position, acknowledging this work of non-duality, being able to let ourselves be inside of things where we don't have that sort of dualistic context of success or failure, to be in process and healing. Thank you for your time, your energy, your effort. You wish, you can bring thumbs to third eye, acknowledge that the mind must bow to the heart, bow to yourself, seal in practice. Thank you. Just a reminder, 50% of all donation proceeds for videos this month go to the Washington Black Trans Task Force. There's always a link to the work that they do. This offering is always done in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. This work is done with solidarity, the movement of karmic action to take on kindness and love. If you need anything, if you have questions about the practice, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, be well, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you for letting me be a part of your practice. Great gratitude for you.